the three countries, I think it's useful to see it as Northern Triangle countries, but they're also very different from one another. The Honduras probably is the country where it's experiencing the greatest degree of drug trafficking that goes through Honduras. There are a lot of ungoverned spaces in Honduras, and drug traffickers find Honduras a country that's very attractive in order to transit drugs. The other countries are El Salvador, which is largely gang violence country. There are some drugs as well that are related to that. There's some organized crime that's drug related, but it also has different aspects to it. It's not just drug related. There are other kinds of crimes that are committed, other kinds of trafficking as well. And Guatemala as well, I think there's also a combination. There's a lot of drug trafficking in the northern part of Guatemala. Again, traffickers take advantage of ungoverned spaces, which are vast. These are extremely weak governments, extremely weak states. And so when they provide very fertile ground for a lot of drug traffickers that want to get their drugs to the United States. The gangs that are particularly successful in their own terms are ones that are in El Salvador. And that has actually, they started, the origin of those gangs goes back to Los Angeles. So this is an export of the United States to Salvador. The Salvadorans came to Los Angeles, and then they formed gangs in Los Angeles, and now many of them have gone back to El Salvador. And they really don't find opportunities, economic opportunities, and the gangs give them a kind of identity, give them a kind of attachment, a kind of commitment that they like. They are otherwise pretty alienated, and it shows that they have power. And I think a lot of young people like power, and they're drawn to power, and I think that's what we see in El Salvador. So there's certainly a legal aspect to it, but there's also another more of a social aspect and almost cultural aspect to it in El Salvador as well. But the origins of it can be traced back to Los Angeles, to Salvadoran groups in Los Angeles that began to get involved in more gang activity there, and then came back to El Salvador.